people are to the crowd, as we were approaching, we were in between 1st and 2nd Street, which is right in front of the main town square called Port Clinton Square, when we heard a pow, 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 a pause, and then rapid succession, and that's when I yelled at my husband to run. We were running, we turned around and ran, just so you have an idea of where it's located. Lake Michigan is 6 blocks east of that location. Maybe 8 blocks. We started running back east where we came from the parade, where we were in the parade route. We had come from the east, crossed the tracks towards this 2nd Street, crossing through Port Clinton Square when the firing started. And that's when the crowd in front of us, the float in front of us, started running towards us, and we were all running at that point. And then I was yelling to the spectators to run. And at that time, I'm sure they could see the terror in my face, and they were plucking their kids out of their strollers and chairs and running for their lives, as we all were. It was really horrifying.
First of all, Elizabeth, I'm glad you and your husband are okay. Sorry, obviously, for what you had to witness today. I'm wondering, you were so close to where that shooting began. I'm wondering, did you see people as you were running? And of course, you weren't focused on that. You were running to save your life. But did you see people injured?
We did not see people injured. Thankfully, we did not have that visual. Unfortunately, people who succumbed to the gunfire, some of those folks, of course, even children. I know one of our local doctors here was giving CPR to a 9-year-old boy on the ground. He lives in our community, or is one of the doctors in our community, and he stayed. He stayed, and he was giving that boy as much support as possible until the paramedics arrived. And so many of the people are not going to be able to go home like I did, like me and my husband did, back to our families, to our kids.
No, we understand 6 people were killed, 24 wounded, some in critical condition, sent to various hospitals. Where I don't need your actual location, but you're safe right now. You and your husband were able to make it to safety, and now you're just
in Highland Park.
You're just trying to process this now.
Just blocks from the middle of town. Yeah.
You're talking about your community. You're talking about knowing a doctor who was there administering CPR. This is your community. The parades across the country, larger cities, small cities, are community-based. This was an attack, on your community where, people think it's never going to happen there. I'm sure it's going to take a while to get your head around this, but do you have any perspective on this at this point in the day, or are you just still trying to process it?
We're trying to process. We do have, friends that were also at the parade as spectators. And of course, the folks that we volunteer with at the food pantry, their eyewitness account. A friend of ours and his wife were running for their lives right on 2nd Street. They were running southbound. A bullet whizzed in between them and hit the glass of the restaurant in front of them, and the glass shattered all over them. They narrowly escaped the bullet. Unfortunately, as we all know, not too many other people were that lucky. We do have accounts from close friends that there was a shooter on the ground at the stop sign, and other friends said that there was someone on the roof as well. So I don't know if they're looking for 2 shooters or just 1 shooter, but I'm getting stories from people who were actually there like we were, that they witnessed somebody on the roof and somebody on the ground. So I don't know if law enforcement is looking for 2 people at this time, or if there are even 2 people, but it just seems like the damage was so extensive. And the explanation of the doctor that when these people were hit by these bullets, they just exploded. These people were just blown away by these bullets. Clearly, the way I heard that, pow, 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 and then that rapid succession, there is 0 doubt in my mind that it was an assault rifle, semi-automatic of some sort. My dad was in the military. I just know the sounds of things, and it was just horrible.
Yeah. Elizabeth, I can tell you that the police have told us that they've recovered one rifle. Obviously, if it's shooting from that distance and you can hear a high-powered rifle, we don't know what kind, but it was a high-powered rifle. And police tell us they're looking for one person. They describe that person as a white male between the ages of 18 and 20, long dark hair with a slender build. They haven't told us they're looking for two people yet. They just tell us they're looking for the one. Situations like this, it can be very confusing as everybody's running.
I completely understand, but how can they find weapons or discharge of weapons on the rooftop, which is just maybe 30 yards away from where we were, up on top of the rooftop, and then have somebody on the ground also shooting? There's no way that person, unless they jumped off the roof and magically landed on their feet without injury and then started firing into the crowd. It just seems implausible that